The more books are adapted into feature films, the more you might hear debate over which one was better. I know I've argued for one or the other many times, and though it's a tempting debate to enter into, it doesn't leave much room for valuing each work for its own intrinsic worth. A movie has certain limitations, as does a book, but each medium also has unique ways of crafting a story and progressing the action that may give it some advantages over the other. In this film review, I will try to avoid judging the movie against the book, though I will compare and contrast the two. The Coen brothers created a film that progresses exceptionally like the book it was based off of. Cormac McCarthy is famous for his writing style, lacking much punctuation. His simple declarative sentences read like a stream of consciousness, and making it clear for the reader to get inside Llewellyn Moss's mind. Take this example. He walked out on the floodplain and cut a wide circle to see where the track of the tires in the thin grass would show in the sun. He cut for a sign 100 feet to the south. He picked up the man's trail and followed it until he came to blood in the grass. Then more blood. The movie doesn't have the luxury of employing a lack of punctuation, because there are no words. Instead, the Coen brothers employ silence and a lack of music in their film to mimic the simplicity of McCarthy's style and contribute a sense of eeriness and harsh reality to the events as they play out. In terms of characters, the book provides much more detail about Sheriff Bell's life and drives the plot through him. Books are naturally better genres for conveying detail, so this is to be expected. What is interesting, though, is how many details the Coen brothers were able to maintain in the story, even though it is not possible to transcribe a book into a movie script. Though the movie opens with a narration from Bell, it is not entirely his story as it is in the novel. The difference in focus shifts the viewer's attention, pulling the story out of Bell's perspective a bit and allowing more room for development of other characters within the time constraint of the film medium. Furthermore, the film ends with Bell recounting his dream to his wife, rather than the more absent-minded appeal to the reader that the book presents. This is a subtle way of using a natural element of cinematography to present a realistic conversation to the reader, rather than a more subjective approach. The viewer sees the wife sitting across the table from Bell, and knows that Bell is talking to her directly, but the viewer is allowed there, in the angle of the wife, to hear the story firsthand, as if Bell were telling it directly to him or her. One of the details I particularly noticed in the film was the portrayal of darkness as a literary device. A book may employ some foreshadowing or other technique that gives the reader a sense of darkness and doom, but the film does an excellent job of visually portraying the chaos that arises in the darkness of Llewellyn's world. Finally, while the movie follows the book very closely in most scenes, it does portray the deaths of Llewellyn and Carla Jean differently. In the movie, we don't see anything that describes Moss's heroic efforts in trying to save the girl before he is killed at the hotel. All we see is the body, indicating that he is dead, and a glimpse of the scenery around him.
Call the police.
Similarly, Carla Jean's death is represented differently in the movie. In the book, she consents to pick a side for Sugar's coin toss, leading to her death. The movie adapts this into a moment of human defiance mixed with pride, as Carla Jean refuses to concede to Sugar's game. She tries to make him accept responsibility for his actions, rather than pawning off her fate into her own hands. In each of these death scenes, I think the Coen brothers have used different techniques to confirm a central theme of both the book and the movie. Sugar's character is principled. He follows through on what he says he will do, as if he is loyal to nothing or no one else, including a sense of morality or framework for good and evil. To Sugar, it does not matter how the characters are killed, just that they are, as is their fate based on his word and his will.